Hello there gorgeous gamers, and welcome back to Pure Play TV for another mini video review for the Xbox Series S. And this time we're taking a look at Watch Dogs Legion, a game we've previously reviewed in detail on PS4, and you can go ahead and check out that review in the link below. So, Watch Dogs Legion on Xbox Series S. Is it any good? Yes, obviously, but the improvements aren't quite as dramatic as I would have liked, personally. If anything, I'm a little bit disappointed with Watch Dogs Legion on the Series S. It's still a great game, mind you, but the improvements have definitely come at a cost, and I'm not sure that I'm happy to be paying the price for those improvements. Before we carry on, please take a second to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, as well as the bell icon so that you're the first to know when we've got new stuff. Cheers, my dears. My previous experience with Watch Dogs Legion has been on the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, and both of those versions were really nice in terms of image quality. On both mid-gen refreshers, the resolution had been given a nice little bump over the base consoles, and especially on the One X, the image is really nice and clean on a 4K TV. The upgrade to Series S has brought with it one major change: ray tracing. Watch Dogs Legion has ray trace reflections, which means that lighting and reflections more closely mirror, no pun intended, real-life lighting qualities. The lights off of the holographic signs shine in puddles on vehicles, giving the game a more realistic look. This works especially well with London's wet and rainy streets, and to see these reflections at work when you're zipping around London town is quite impressive. Likewise, if you take a stroll on the streets and look at a window, you'll see your character has a natural reflection that perfectly mirrors what your character is doing at any time, as well as any background details such as other characters walking by or vehicles driving past. It's a great look, and it's our first proper look at some next-gen features, but it does come at a cost on the Series S. To get the game running at a solid 30 frames per second, and so far from what I've seen during my tests, it holds that 30 FPS line for the majority of play, even when driving fast through traffic or in a big shootout, but the image quality suffers. Watch Dogs Legion uses dynamic resolution scaling, which means that the resolution tops out at around 1080p, but it goes as low as 900p, which is sub HD, and that's to keep things going smoothly. If you're on a 1080p TV, this won't be a major issue as your TV is, without bragging, likely to be smaller than mine, and that masks the imperfections that come with the drop in resolution. On a 4K screen, like my 65-incher, it's not a pretty sight. Aliasing and a general fuzziness surround objects, and there's a sense that the image just isn't fitting to the screen in the way that I would have liked. Personally, I favour image quality over graphics. It's the reason I bought into the One X and the PS4 Pro, the promise that I'd be able to take advantage of my 4K TV with native 4K games. Well, we know how that turned out on the PS4 Pro, but at least on the One X there were a fair few games that ran at native, or very close to, 4K. Now, the big thing here is to remember that the Series S is not a 4K console, it's a 1440p console, but we're not even getting that in Watch Dogs Legion. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we're actually getting higher than 1440p at times, but that is without the fancy ray tracing. Watch Dogs Legion is pushing for more impressive visual tech, but with the much weaker GPU inside the Series S against the Series X or the PS5, there is a trade-off. You get fancy ray tracing and some nice graphics, but you lose that crisp finish that comes with a higher resolution. My hope here is that this won't be the norm. I'm hoping that because Watch Dogs Legion was developed as a cross-gen game, its limitations are partly due to not being 100% optimized for the Xbox Series S. It has been optimized, but it wasn't made from the ground up to take advantage of what the Series S can do. Hopefully, once we start getting next-gen only games like Suicide Squad and that Harry Potter RPG, we'll see developers focus more on the next-gen consoles properly, including the Series S, so that we at least get a locked 1080p HD resolution and, if it's possible, a nice little bump up to 1440p. So, Watch Dogs Legion is still a great game on the Series S, and with the massively improved loading times, it's a much easier game to get really stuck into. The gameplay remains the same, obviously, but the graphics get a nice little boost thanks to some impressive ray tracing, which is perfectly suited to moody London and its lit up cityscape. But the drop in resolution does at times make it feel ever so slightly like a downgrade, especially if you've come from playing on the One X with higher resolutions on a 4K telly. If you're on a 1080p TV, you won't really see a dramatic difference, just a bit of a softer image. And that's the end of this mini review, one gamer to another. You're not going to get the fancy frame rate graphs, and we're not going to zoom in 4,000 times to show you how one pixel is a little bit different on one version compared to another. You're just getting one experienced player's thoughts without the gobbledygook. I do hope that's enough for you, and if it is and you enjoy watching what we put out, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons down below. It really does help us, and we will love you forever. I will even send Jason around to your house to cuddle you warm at night. That's a service you don't get with any other channel. And it is just cuddling, no funny business. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, see ya!